Hello everybody, GB4576 here. Today, we have our newest episode of Death Battle. Simone the Digger versus Kyle Rayner. Gurren Lagann versus White Lantern. Now, I like Gurren Lagann a lot. Back in January, I binge-watched the whole series in preparation for this episode. So yeah, unlike other people, I did not wait to binge Gurren Lagann when this episode got announced. But a lot of people did, and so it's really neat seeing a lot of people's reactions to it. As for Kyle Rayner, I don't really know anything about him aside from what was in the preview. Like, I know he's a comic artist that became a Green Lantern, and then he became a White Lantern. But, he seems like a really cool character. I'm looking forward to learning more about him. As for who I think will win, I have no idea. Like, both literally can become infinitely powerful via their willpower. Like, I'd say Simone has more willpower, whereas Kyle is definitely way more creative. Tangatopa Gurren Lagann merged down here. Dismiss that. So yeah, I legit have no idea who's going to win. I'll make a final prediction in the analysis once all the analysis are done. But other than that, let's just sit back and enjoy the show in 25 seconds. 19. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go! They're starting with Gurren Lagann.
Simone the Digger.
Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern.
Two men born of Earth with the willpower to pierce the heavens and conquer infinity.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Okay, start with Simone.
Deep underground, Jiha village lived in dreary isolation, oblivious to the wider world above their squalid cave.
That's where the hero of our story comes in. The young man who would lead his comrades into the sunlight at last. Kamina, the great and mighty.
Yeah, Kamina's so
and
cool.
his little brother from another mother, Simone.
He's also
he was there
alright.
too, I guess.
Simone was a digger, content to
21,
drill endlessly
digger,
through the
commander,
dirt,
pilot,
until the
hermit.
day he found the
Now
core
Simone.
drill.
The key
There's
that
a mangaka,
activated the
inspired by
mysterious
Captain
buried
Harlow,
mech that
likes
Kamina
bullshit, Mia,
named
comic drills,
Lagann.
dislikes
Under
paperwork,
his
authority, and the
magnificently
anti-spiral.
masculine leadership, Kamina finally drilled their way to freedom, seeing the sun after a life in the dark.
But the sky was by no means the limit. The surface was ruled by the cruel chimeric beastmen, and Kamina would lead his compatriots against them to reclaim the
Zero.
Earth for humanity, scoring a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren.
Yep,
And
Gurren.
as befits Kamina and Simone's unbreakable brotherly bond, Gurren and Lagann merged, creating Gurren Lagann.
Title
With
drop.
Kamina piloting the body and Simone the head, these two were unstoppable.
Of
Yeah,
all the
this
giant
early part
fighting
was really
robots
good.
and all the enemies across history, Gurren Lagann might just be the absolute coolest.
I mean, I'm
fueled
not
by
gonna
its
say they're
pilot's
wrong.
willpower and capable of
Let's
making
see, Gurren Lagann, height 12.8 meters, runs on willpower, merges with larger machines, drills, missiles, sunglasses, boomerang, and energy blast.
any weapon they can imagine.
Including missiles, a jetpack, a sunglasses boomerang, and of course,
Drills!
Drills.
Wrist-mounted drills, kunai drills, shield drills, kamehameha
Just
drills,
so many
and everyone's
drills.
favorite, the Giga Drill Bureku! Side note, it is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills. That's
Yep.
like if I made booze or something, my whole personality.
Booze is
What
your
up?
whole
with Gurren
personality
Lagann's
boomstick.
awesome power, Kamina laid waste to enemy forces, liberated human villages, and fomented a rebellion against the Beastmen King, Lord Genome.
Until Kamina died.
This
Oh,
was
wait,
so
shit,
sad.
was that supposed to happen?
Nope, and it was all Simone's
Damn
fault.
you,
He
Simone,
let
you
his
cost
willpower
us
waver,
someone
and his soul
cool.
brother paid the price. After all, he was just a humble digger, at home in the darkness, guided solely by the light of Kamina's spirit.
So his big bro left him with these final words. Have faith in the Simone who believes in you. Damn.
Kamina was the one looking
That's
up to
such a-
him the whole time. It was
It means a
Simone who
lot.
found Lagann, Simone who pierced the
Lagann.
surface, and
Surface?
Simone who would now lead humanity
I mean,
to
it's only
victory.
logical.
Especially with his gal pal Nia at his side,
Hey, Nia.
who helped pull him out of his rut and kick Lord Genome's
Should be
ass.
noted that
But
Nia
victory
is
only
Lord
lasted
Genome's
7
daughter.
years before the anti-spiral attacked.
They got some
Unimaginably powerful
spoilers.
godlike aliens, the anti-spiral
Thing I've
feared
already
humanity's
watched the show,
potential,
so-
what they dubbed the spiral nemesis.
Remember how Gurren Lagann runs on fighting spirit? Turns out that's just a manifestation of spiral power, an energy that all spiral beings, like humans, have. That's right, the laws of physics run on chutzpah.
Just as the spiral turned inward represents endless obsession
Yeah,
and
symbolism.
madness, the spiral
It was
turned
a monkey.
outward spins forever into infinity,
Some
the
JoJo
perfect
game.
representation of humanity's evolutionary potential.
Potential Simon would use as he led Team Dai Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight to the anti-spiral. And this is when Gurren Lagann gets crazy.
Yeah,
Channeling
if it
spiral power
wasn't
lets you
already.
constantly adapt to threats, no matter how overwhelming. Simone can create portals to different
Alright.
realities.
Evolution, spiral power, exponential adaptation, self-repair, force fields, energy absorption, reality warping, arc Gurren Lagann, city size, thunderbolt chariot kick, space-time shattering burst, spinning punch, and super galaxy Gurren Lagann, moon size, fully drillized, spaceship temporal axis, simultaneous shooting. Cannot
And
read.
higher dimensions. He can generate force fields, absorb energy attacks, and even merge Gurren Lagann with bigger and stronger machines.
And more stuff. Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, incomprehensibly big, contains super spiral space probability missiles, and super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. Mech size is bigger than the observable universe, infinite spiral power, and its drill size is way bigger than the observable universe.
Creating the Arc Gurren Lagann, which is strong enough to shatter space and time with a punch.
Or the Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann, which can fire lasers that are fast enough to hit, and I quote, all time, space, and dimensions, all within a Planck instant.
That's the smallest unit of time physically possible.
Meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6 times 10 to the 117th power times faster than light.
I think this is the new fastest speed calc.
Oh, well, looks like this wins the award for fastest calculated speed feat in our show's history.
Take that,
Congratulations,
SpongeBob.
Gurren Lagann.
Move over, SpongeBob. You've been dethroned. Oh, and the guidebook says they hit an innumerable number of enemies across infinite universes. You literally cannot calculate how fast that is.
But it wasn't enough to escape the
Yep,
anti-spiral's
measurable
greatest trap,
speed.
the multiverse labyrinth. An attack that imprisons Simon in his own unique multiverse, forced to experience an infinite number of alternate realities that controlled his mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world.
Except Simone and his spiral power are just built different. And after being inspired by his bro, Simone absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more impressive is that this
That's drama
labyrinth was
CD.
11-dimensional, meaning
Wait, hold on. In the drama CD, Otoko no Joken Gurren Lagann, an alternate Lord Genome seemingly manipulated 20D space, but there's a translation error more referred to a twofold dimension.
Simon absorbed a higher dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than himself. The jump between dimensions is basically infinite. Each new dimension adds a new direction of space that extends infinitely, thus an infinite gap in size and scope.
What?
Oh, we're
What?
just getting started. Imagine a two-dimensional drawing interacting with a three-dimensional person.
Okay. That's not too far off from what actually happened.
Because when Simon absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, he merged with every alternate universe version of himself, including an alternate universe Simon who is writing his own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann. And that author's spiral power made his
Oh, we have
fictional
the radio
Simon
drama.
real, adding another to the mix.
Wait, if every human being has spiral power, you're telling me we can all do this shit?
This all gave our Simone enough spiral power to form the next step in mecha evolution, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
This is when Gurren Lagann gets actually fucking crazy.
Even more crazy.
Shooting missiles that alter probability so they have a 100% chance of hitting you, or tossing galaxies around like frisbees.
Higher
Sorry, did I
concepts
say
are consistent with author
galaxies? I meant
statements.
universes.
Simon's power was so immense that he started
Galaxies are
generating
universes.
super spiral space, a higher dimension
Yeah, I have
encompassing
no
our
idea
own
what
universe.
they're talking
With
about.
it, Simone turns his thoughts into reality, letting him create his mech and all of
Okay.
its weapons in the first place.
Not only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilots, pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence.
Like when Lord Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or the time Nia, now the best wife in the universe,
Simone has stated in interviews and directly showed to be the strongest spiral power user, as he is capable of the same feats and abilities as his crew. Okay.
used spiral power to constantly regenerate her body from being erased at the informational level for 7 days straight.
Information in physics is essentially the ones and zeros that make up every possible outcome in reality. Nia literally regenerated from the statistical certainty of her own destruction.
If I have spiral power, whiz, when the fuck is my leg growing back?
When even
It
this
won't
was not
move
enough
sick.
for the anti-spiral, Simone evolved one more time.
Into
Giant blue
Super
form.
Tangentopa
Yep.
Gurren Lagann!
This mech is so big, its size is literally incalculable. And with a drill somehow even larger than that, Simone and his friends shattered the anti-spiral once and for all.
Hey, cruel indifference of the universe! Meet the indomitable human spirit!
Proving Kamina's words prophetic.
Let's see. Became the Simone that believed in him, pulled the moon into orbit, struck all space at once, absorbed the multiverse, withstood the infinity Big Bang storm, shattered a drill trillions of light years long, and defeated Viral, four Supreme Generals, Lord Genome, and the Anti-Spiral.
Simone's drill is the drill that would pierce
the heavens.
With no more worlds left to conquer, Simone chose to wander the earth for the rest of his days, in service to others.
Always looking up. For all the lights in the sky are stars, and every star another world of spiral cousins that can live free.
All thanks
Gurren Lagann
to a
was so
humble
good.
digger.
The universe is
Oh,
a
no
dangerous
sponsor
place. Should you find yourself face to face with an interdimensional vampire, alien dictators, or this
Now
one
let's learn
really
about
pissed
Kyle.
off cat, you know who to call.
The Green Lantern Corps. They're the Space Fuzz, an intergalactic police force founded billions of years ago by blue leprechaun gods.
And the greatest Green Lantern among
Hey,
them
Hal.
was everyone's favorite, Hal Jordan.
You know him, you love him, you might hate
Ben
him, but you
versus
gotta
Hal.
respect the man with a will as unbreakable as Hal's.
Until the day his will broke.
After his hometown got completely obliterated, Hal lost his mind. He rampaged through the core, killing everyone in his
Damn
path,
you, Hal
and
Jordan.
absorbed the
You're just
central
making
power
people
battery,
dislike you
the
more.
literal Green
As
Lantern.
if the
Becoming
Death
the
Belt
Emerald
community already
Tyrant,
have enough reasons to not like him.
There was only one survivor of Parallax's killing spree, Ganthet.
Hey,
And
Ganthet.
with what remained of his strength, he gave the last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human, Kyle Rayner.
Hey, Kyle.
So, was Kyle picked for his indomitable...
Let's see. Kyle Rayner, he's 30, 5'11", 175 pounds, comic artist, Green Lantern, aka Ion. He also became Parallax, Torchbearer. He likes Superman, Asian movies, and Gamera. Dislikes DC editorial, Jaws, and love triangles. Fun fact, DC canonically hates Kyle. He's only recently getting new comics.
willpower like
a
Hal was?
decade.
He was just there. He had no idea what was going on. Must feel good being given the most dangerous magical weapon in existence to figure out on your own. Hey, if Colonel Sanders, Daffy Duck, Space Wheat, and a sentient box can master it, what's your excuse, Kyle?
Yeah.
The
Kyle,
Green Lantern
what's
ring
your
can
excuse?
do anything, fulfilling any wish its user desires as though it were a genie from a lamp.
It lets you fire energy blasts, create force fields, affect gravity, turn invisible and intangible, manipulate matter, time travel, warp reality, and erase things from existence.
Think we're exaggerating?
Oh,
well,
that's
consider the
a
time
lot.
Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck length a billion
I'm not
times
pausing to
over.
read all that. That's
like
just a
stretching
lot.
an inch into a light year.
Lanterns
Poor
control
thing.
time and space, letting them fly so fast they can create a Speed Force singularity.
Tapping into the Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space, requiring speeds that are not only faster than light, but totally immeasurable.
So,
and the
we're
rings
at
have an
both
artificial
both have
intelligence that
immeasurable
operates
speed.
just as fast, automatically protecting its user from danger.
Like the time that Poozer Kilowog survived
The Green Lantern Chipman stated his ring protected him from the effects of Crisis on Infinite Earth. Dr. Ubix also survived the crises in the the Sucker Stick, an analog to the Green Lantern ring.
being erased from existence by the Crisis on Infinite Earth.
The ring is fueled by its user's willpower and limited only by their imagination.
While Hal may have had the greatest willpower in the Corps, Kyle's imagination is unmatched, probably because he's a comic book artist. And we know from this show,
Yeah.
they think of some wild shit.
Yep,
But the
they
Green
sure
Lantern's
do.
most recognizable ability is their constructs, Kyle's speciality.
Samurai armor, pirate ships,
He's got a lot
giant
of crazy
dragons,
stuff.
actual working home computers, and his favorite, super fighting robots. Hey, that one looks
Hey,
familiar.
Gurren,
Kyle
Lagann.
can make them strong enough to lift the Spectre, who weighs as much as eternity.
Or hold back a 12.3 dimensional Big Bang.
So
Wait,
12.3
point
dimensions. That is
DC's
bigger than Gurren
multiverse has
Lagann.
12.3 dimensions? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The ring's only downside is that it's
Everfish.
limited to 24 hours.
After relinquishing the power of Ion, Kyle modified his Green Lantern ring to have an emergency reserve of backup power. It will never fully run out, even if it cannot maintain 100% charge.
Before needing
Okay.
a recharge.
So it can blow up universes, but it has the battery
Good
of
to
an
know.
iPhone. Never mind, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness was Kyle. With great power came no
Okay, this is new
responsibility.
stuff.
Perhaps a manifestation of Kyle's self-doubt. Any reflection came too late, though, when one of Kyle's villains brutally murdered his girlfriend, Alex, and put her body in a fridge.
Kyle wasn't the only
Yep,
one
here's the
traumatized.
fridging.
This moment was so infamous, it started the trope called fridging.
For how female characters are often sacrificed as mere plot devices to further a male character's development.
So it might surprise
That's
you that it
I actually
happened
have
to
a
Kyle
poster of that
again.
Spider-Man thing
Kyle
over
finally
there.
got serious. He became a prominent member of the Justice League, faced off against Hal, and even rebuilt the Green Lantern Corps better than ever.
But little did he
Okay.
know, this torchbearer's greatest journey had only just begun.
In order to save Ganthet from an emotional lobotomy, it's a long story, he had to master all the colors of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum.
There are 7 colors, each
Yep.
representing a different emotion. The yellow light of fear lets Kyle manipulate.
Let's see. Red Lantern. We have the Blue Lantern, Healing. Sapphire Lantern, Crystal, Mind Control. Indigo Lanterns, Portals, Compassion. Orange, Energy Siphoning, Soul Manipulation. Yellow, Fear Manipulation, Fear Empowerment. The White Lantern, which is what he is. And they are giving him the life equation. It's good to know.
The worst horrors in your mind. The more scared you are of him, the stronger he becomes.
Orange light is fueled by bottomless avarice, possessing Kyle to absorb not merely his enemies' attacks, but also their souls.
Red is rage, ripping out Kyle's heart and replacing his blood with napalm. Which
What?
sounds like it sucks, but it's metal as hell.
Blue
I mean,
light is
they're not
powered by
wrong.
hope and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination, and supercharge his ring.
Indigo is compassion, reducing his opponent's will to fight and letting him open portals across space,
That is
connecting
potential
him to
win
others.
con.
The
Force
final one
him.
was the Sapphire
Kyle.
Light of Love. With it, he can trap enemies within crystal matrices and control their minds. But Kyle only mastered it by forgiving himself for Alex's tragic death.
Oh, self-love. I get it. Must be nice. And with their powers combined, he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow.
The lights of the spectrum merged, and Kyle became a White Lantern,
a White
with
Lantern.
total control over the power of life.
Wiz, I cannot think of an attack more useless in a death battle than something that makes you live.
Empowered by the physical embodiment of all life in the DC multiverse, Kyle is vastly more powerful than any other lantern in existence.
Far stronger than Hal, who could harness the energy of every power battery across.
Even a single central power battery contains enough power to create and destroy a universe, meaning Hal manipulate a multiversal amount of energy.
The multiverse.
Not only can Kyle instantly heal all wounds, purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation, like the Anti-Monitor.
Okay, so it's not totally useless.
Especially after Kyle visited the Source and acquired the life equation.
Yep.
Essentially the source code to reality, the life equation is mathematical proof that life is worth living.
With it, Kyle can alter all of reality at a whim, even threatening the new gods like Darkseid.
The life equation, like its counterpart,
Let's
the
see his feat. Contained a supernova, survived the Big Bang that created the DCU, outsped the laws of physics, surpassed Hal Jordan's power, resisted the anti-life equation's domination, mastered the emotional spectrum, defeated Wonder Woman, Parallax, Amazon, Oblivion.
anti-life equation is a conceptual artifact from a higher reality, originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense,
Sourceful.
more real than we are.
So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
He struggled to control it, and it subconsciously manifested a being composed of his fears and anxieties. Oblivion. Kyle's greatest weakness was still himself.
Kyle spent his whole life struggling with the power that the gods granted him, and throughout it all, he always rose to the occasion, carrying the universe on his back.
But ultimately, the only way to stop power from corrupting is to spread it. So Kyle split the life equation into pieces to found his second core, the White Lanterns. And together, they shattered oblivion, destroying the self-doubt that plagued Kyle once and for all.
Not bad for a comic book geek from LA.
And now he was the one giving out rings of unlimited power to people who weren't sure if they could command it.
So he told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself, making mistakes along the way.
But with the power of life at their command, there's no end to their journey, only endless beginnings.
Kyle seems really cool.
Hey, remember Beerus versus Sailor Galaxia?
Their ad for
no?
their new website.
Well, that's because it was taken off YouTube for being too anime. But we've got a solution. It's our own website. That's www.deathbattle.gg.
Okay, this is the only ad.
It's like our own private Patreon with a store.
Go over
GG,
here.
live right now.
The battle is currently happening in real time.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
And pause. So, once again, I still have no idea who's going to win this. I am rooting for Simone, but I won't be surprised if Kyle wins. You know what? I think Simone's gonna win this. I'm betting on him. Not real anything, but you know what I mean. Come on, Simone. You're gonna beat Kyle, even though you're both goated. So, let's just get into this, shall we? Okay. Okay, Gurren Lagann.
Alright, I'm not rusty at all.
He's throwing his boomerang. Oh,
Hey dude, Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Ring says you've got a Class A galactic super weapon, whatever that is. I'm thinking it's the giant mech. Why don't you hand it over?
Gurren Lagann's mine, officer. Just who the hell do you think you are?
Oh no, it's a repeat of Ben Hal's the setup. Oh, the poltergeist and the dragon.
I'm told I'm bad with authority.
Tell me about it. 4!
Ha! That's awesome. Oh, there's a head off. Lagann. Oh, we're already going to space?
That's nothing! My drill will pierce the heavens!
Yep, gotta have that line in there. Oh, he transforming.
Take it to Gurren Lagann!
I mean, I don't really think the whole who Trevor transforms first really applies to this. Oh, he went white early. Oh, it's Superman.
That's really cool.
Lighthearted.
We do the impossible.
See the invisible.
Touch the untouchable.
Break the unbreakable.
If you ain't know,
Now you know!
Oh, and the missiles. Oh, it's a source
I'm
wall.
Simone the Digger! If there's a wall in my way, I'll smash it down!
Oh, drilled through the source wall. Hello, White Lantern.
Stop fighting. Think about your fear of death, your love of your friends, your compassion for me, your hope for the future. Choose life.
Oh,
Have faith in the Simone that believes in you.
oh, Kamina.
Super Tekken Topa Gurren
Oh, he going blue.
My drill is the drill that will transcend the heavens! Giga Drill Break!
Oh, that drill. Oh, giant drill. Drill clash. Ooh, I'm hearing Will the drill in this song anyway.
the super weapon wasn't
Oh,
your
it's
mech.
fighting.
It was me. Then, Simone, I'm taking you in.
in brightest day, in blackest night.
Night.
No evil shall
Down to a
escape
fist
my
fight.
sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware
My power. Green Lantern's light.
Green Lantern's light!
Oh, drill. Oh.
Don't take!
You'd make a good lantern.
Did Simone just win?
Simon of Earth,
Oh.
you have been chosen.
Just who the hell do you think I am?
Oh, Simone
The guy
won.
with the snazzy sunglasses!
When both combatants possess unlimited power, it's hard to judge them by our normal standards. Take speed. Simone can hit an infinite number of targets all at once,
Physical
and Kyle
stats.
can fly fast enough to surpass the normal concept of speed itself.
When you control space and time, things like strength and speed
Simone
kind of
won.
become irrelevant.
Instead, let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle. Their imagination, their willpower, and their ultimate potential.
Imagination,
First up,
Kyle.
imagination.
That's Kyle.
The boundless things they could conjure to use against the other. Both could think up just about anything the other could, like absorbing each other's attacks, fighting across time, anything.
Simone did have a few attacks that Kyle hasn't encountered, like the probability.
Kyle struggled to erase Aberration, who destabilized the natural laws of the universe after a long enough time. In comparison, the Anti-Spiral had complete control of the laws of countless universes and could erase fundamental concepts, yet could not erase Nia from existence.
Altering missiles, but it's likely Kyle could adapt considering his ring could protect against existence being erased across the multiverse.
And in general, Kyle's constructs were a lot more creative than Simone's arsenal, which was mostly drills. Though again, nothing Simone couldn't adapt to with, say, his energy absorption. Imagination is a draw.
Oh, it's
That
a
leaves
draw.
the other main factor for both characters, the origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
And that's really gonna be the winning factor here, since it's the source of everything for both of them. Whoever's got
I'd
the
say
stronger
Simone has better
willpower
willpower.
wins.
Both can manipulate reality on a multiverse.
Simone's reality warping could evolve to counter hypothetical source wall imprisonment in a similar manner to the multiverse labyrinth. Several DC characters with similar abilities like Spectre, Superman, and Barry Allen have escaped the source wall in the past.
Universal scale with their willpower, but we can use dimensions to roughly calculate a difference. This might sound absurd for most characters, but it's necessary for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and Kyle.
The multiverse labyrinth that Simone absorbed contained 11 spatial dimensions. That's 1.3 dimensions less than the multiverse Kyle's power can threaten.
And remember, each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses the one below it.
Which meant Kyle's willpower was stronger at a base level. However, that doesn't necessarily mean Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one thing both of these guys are known for, it's that they can always get stronger.
So to determine the limits of their willpower, we first need to understand their full potential.
Simone's whole deal with spiral power is how he can constantly evolve to get stronger. So just because Simone starts off weaker doesn't mean he'll stay that way.
Absorbing the multiverse labyrinth required Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an instant. Simone made himself that much stronger through sheer force of will.
More than enough to close the gap with Kyle, especially since spiral power also lets him regenerate his body down to an informational level. Kyle's never destroyed something that thoroughly before.
Without the ability
Watching
to
the
easily
upcoming
kill
Kyle
Simone,
Rayner
it was
comics,
only a
he
matter
will.
of time before Kyle's ring ran low on
But they just said Kyle's ring wouldn't run out. The Anti-Spirals are generation comparable to spiral power users, but Simone overcame them. He can do the same against Kyle's healing and resurrection abilities, including those that work on non-corporeal level.
charge, especially since Simone could likely regenerate for at least a week straight, like Nia did. While Blue Lantern Light could boost Kyle's power, he's never jumped several orders of infinity in strength like Simone has.
And while Kyle could manipulate emotions to
Yeah,
reduce
let's
Simone's
start
willpower,
finishing the
Simone
play.
resisting the labyrinth's mental manipulation
Vortex.
meant he could power
Vortex
through
Manhattan.
anything Kyle threw at him.
Everything, that is, except for the life equation. It originated from a higher level of reality and would have more than even the odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't control it.
Yep.
It was just as much a detriment to him as an asset, forcing him to relinquish it to keep from destroying reality and himself.
Kyle kept the life equation, the what-if scenario New Guardian's future ends, but in it he is corrupted and ultimately destroyed himself. In the canon, Kyle saw this potential future, hence why he relinquished the equation. But also established those with high willpower are resistant to the life equation, such as that person.
Compare that to Simone, who merged with a version of himself writing a version of Gurren Lagann, and using spiral power to make that fiction into reality.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level of power Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by the end of his story. No matter how you look at it, Simone might start weaker, but his peak will always transcend Kyle's. Isn't that how all of Simone's battles usually go anyway?
Yeah.
That's Gurren Lagann in a nutshell.
So Simone's incredible potential eclipsed Kyle, which means his willpower was ultimately greater.
I'd
Kyle
actually
may have
say
embodied life
imagination
itself,
should go to
but
Kyle.
Simone's unstoppable evolutionary potential.
Yep, Simone, great rate adaptation, superior regeneration, resist the emotional spectrum. They counter each other's abilities and use weaker initially. Kyle's stronger base and more creative. Counter each other's abilities, far weaker, eventually a limited battery charge.
Would shatter even this lantern's light.
I hope Kyle at least dug the fight, because when it comes to Death Battle losers, he was a dead ringer.
The winner is Simone the Digger.
Next
time, I know what I want this to be. I want this to be Wiley versus Tom. I want it to be that a lot. But probably won't be able to see.
I'm on Death Battle.
Wiley versus Tom!
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
This was my most anticipated Death Battle this year. It's going to be hand-drawn by Luis, the guy who did Scooby vs. Courage. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this exponentially. But hey, with that being said, Simone won against Kyle. He was the underdog according to most people, and he won. So yeah, I'm not going to say no to this. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Please check out another VMAT, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.